In this video, I'm going to show you how to completely disassemble and reassemble a 3x3 Rubik's Cube. Now, if you don't actually know how to solve one of these and you just want it to be in a solved state, then this tutorial should work perfectly for you. And by the way, if you're just getting into speed cubing and you want your first ever speed cube, make sure to shop at thecubicle.com and use discount code CFF for 5% off any and all orders. And if you are a cuber and you're wondering why you might need this tutorial, well, it's because when you're setting up cubes, you do need to take them apart in order to actually clean the pieces and get started with the lubing process. Speaking of which, if you're looking to set up a cube, then I have a playlist of a bunch of different cubes that I've set up before. So if you're trying to set up a specific cube, I do have a bunch of setup tutorials. And if you don't see your cube on that playlist, then you can head over to Island Cubing, whose channel is devoted and dedicated basically to just setting up cubes. Anyways, let's get straight into the video with the disassembly process. So based on what cube you have, this will be the easiest or most difficult part of this entire process. I say this because certain cubes are a little bit tighter and have different designs that prevent popping that make it more difficult to take pieces out. However, with most modern speed cubes, you can just turn the top layer 45 degrees and pull an edge piece out like this. Now, if you're trying to do this on a Rubik's brand, it will not work, and sometimes this won't work with a speed cube. So if you're putting some pressure and it's still not popping out, you can just take out the top layer center cap and then loosen the screw until the top layer is loose enough to get an edge piece out. And remember, it's always righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And after you get that one edge out, you can literally just pull out all the pieces. Okay, so now that you've disassembled your cube, make sure you have 1 core, 12 edge pieces, and 8 corner pieces. And if you don't have all those pieces, you should look around your room because you probably lost one of them in the disassembly process. By the way, I only included that little bit because there have been numerous occasions where I have lost pieces and had to search in my room for hours looking for one piece.
I only had one piece left, which means I lost one of the pieces.
So yeah, quick heads up when you're taking apart a cube, make sure you don't lose any pieces. Okay, so the first step of reassembling a cube is to take the core and try to place one edge in between 2 center caps. Make sure not to be too rough with this because if you push the edge in too far, it will just pop out. So after you've done one, you can just do another edge adjacent to that edge so that you form a sort of V shape. After you get those in, hold the core by one of the centers, and I say hold it by a center because if you hold it by one of the edges, then you might risk popping them out. So now that you're holding the core with 2 edges by one of the center pieces, you can insert a corner piece in between the existing edge pieces. And after that, you can just put in an edge to complete that block of pieces. And basically after that, you can repeat this process until you have the first 2 layers complete. So you can just insert one edge piece at a time, and then you do one F2L pair. Basically, you put in a corner and an edge, and you just do that all the way around until you get to the last layer. Alright, so the last layer is definitely the most difficult part of assembling a Rubik's Cube, just because if you think about it, there's no space to really put the pieces in normally, so you might have to use a little bit of force when doing this. Okay, so the first thing I would do is put in one edge piece, and if it's not going in, then you can sort of move a layer out of the way in order to insert that edge, but if it's just way too tight, then you'll have to loosen the screw like before. Alright, so after that edge piece, you can put in the corner next to it, and then the edge, and then corner and edge, and corner and edge, all the way until you have only 2 corners and 1 edge remaining. So people do this in different ways, but if you want to avoid breaking any pieces, then I would put the final 2 corners in, and then I would turn the top layer 45 degrees and try to split apart those 2 corners and then insert the final edge piece like this. Now, if this doesn't work, you might have to just loosen the top layer again. Make sure not to do this too much because sometimes the screw can just completely come out of the core, or you can do it so loose that the pieces in the top layer will just fall out. So don't loosen the screw too much, but just do it enough so that you can fit in that edge piece. By the way, after you loosen a screw, always try to put it back to exactly where it was before so that you don't have uneven tensions. Alright, so now that you got that last edge piece into the cube, you're done. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Keeping for Fun, and I'll catch you in the next one.